in terms of the Republican response, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as you remember, was was the press secretary for Trump. And I think, look, being press secretary is a thankless job. I think, you always have to do a spin. I thought she was pretty good at it. I thought Jen Psaki was good at it. I think Karine Jean-Pierre is probably the worst ever. But putting that aside, the speech to me was almost like American Carnage 2, and I was very disappointed. I thought that there could have been more positive, and whatever happened to the positive Reagan Morning in America message of the Republican Party? It's just kind of sad to me. What are your thoughts about her response?
Well, she was responding to what was being said, so that was part of it. And she did talk about positive things. She talked about her battle with cancer and how she recovered over that. And she talked about the surprise visit to the troops by President Trump and the meaningful exchanges that were had there. That was definitely positive stuff. And I agree that she should have focused more on the real economic realities for families in terms of the record inflation and just the shock of the purchase power of $7,100 lost under Joe Biden on average per capita for each family. So that's and real wage loss since Joe Biden took office. So for Joe Biden to be touting and claiming I'm the best jobs president ever, that's just a lie. It had nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with these external factors. And if anything, he made it worse. The recovery should have been much quicker if he was more keen on opening the country back up. So I think it was important for her to do what she did, which was be a reality check and a canary in the coal mine, if you will, against the distortions that we heard from the president. And so I think that was important. I think that she should have done more a little bit on the economy, because that's the number one issue for most people.
No, and I think the issue is, yes, you can create a lot of jobs, but I think the problem is that it takes a while for things to trickle down. And I also believe that when you take a look at a lot of what Biden's problem is, it's a communication problem. I think that, yes, he's certainly inflated a lot of the stuff that he's done, but he does have some real achievements. And I think he does have a really solid record to run on. But the problem is that he doesn't connect with the American people. And as we've talked about before, even 60% of Democrats don't want him to run again. And I know I sound like a broken record about this, but once again, he is aged 2 years. He is in no position 2 years from now to tell the country that he can serve 4 more years. And they're gambling on Trump being the nominee. But even in a recent poll, it was only one poll, but still Trump was ahead of Biden, which to me, if that's not a red flag, but yet he seems like he's just charging ahead. Democrats are great. Again, who would have thought of Jimmy Carter 2 years before 76? Who would have thought of Barack Obama 2 years before 2008? Who would have thought of Bill Clinton before, in 1990? So get out of the way, and let some of these young people and new blood come out. Nancy Pelosi did it, and we'll see. I think that the signs have been positive, and there's a lot of young people on the bench who could do a really good job. But I think it's going to be a disaster if he runs again for the country and the party.
Dave, I agree with what you said earlier about the bully pulpit, just the sheer physicality of running for president. The reality in 2024.
And he was in a basement before, right? He didn't have to do it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Everything was so carefully managed. You have your crop circles with, feet. So you have a tiny crowd and it's in your basement for the rest of the time. Like, that requires almost no heavy lifting. But now in 2024, things will be different. So I agree with you, Dave. I think if Democrats are smart, they're going to get somebody else.
Well, I think it's nice that we will close on that area of agreement. Another great debate as always, Carrie. And I was just on with Steve Scully this morning, and I was saying that one of the great things about our show is that we disagree on about almost everything, but we're great friends, and it's always respectful. And I think the country people just want to be heard, and just listen. That would be the advice I would give to any politician these days. It'd be amazing the results that you'll see. So we will leave it there. Thanks again for joining us on another episode of Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. Until next time.